Hello and welcome, I'm MrQuitALot and this is my first impression of the new web drama Replay starring none other than Miyeon from I-DLE. So, I've been waiting for this drama for quite some time, not because I was really interested in the subject of the drama or because I thought that this drama would be necessarily good, but because of Miyeon. Obviously, I wanted to see her first acting job and see how she does. Now, how did she do, you might ask? We are going to find out today. So I've watched 2 episodes so far, since there are only 2 episodes out, obviously. And I decided to do this first impression video so that I can later compare my thoughts and what I thought about the drama overall when I review it later down the road, right? When it's completely finished and every episode is released. So, you know what, without further ado, let's jump into the episodes. So the first episode begins with a 20-year-old man doing what a 20-year-old man does when he's all alone. Playing the piano and singing, obviously. What else did you think I was talking about, you perverts? Now the first scene also kind of shows you what I have a big problem with when it comes to this web drama, and it is the acting. Now, I know that a lot of those people that are in this drama are very new and fresh actors, like Miyeon and the one guy from SF9, but there's just a big disparity between the characters. Some actors overreact over every simple thing,
먹고 자고 돼지야?
새끼가 진짜 뒤지고 싶나 대대대 물려볼래!
and some actors just underact, and they're basically like a wooden stick.
싫어. 아 왜? 시간 없어. 아 시간 있어. 한 판만. 한 판만. 너 콜라고. 아니구나. 이게 왜 끊어졌지?
오늘은 저희 학교를 소개해드리려고 합니다. 짠!
And you know, like I said, they're new actors, and I know that Miyeon is new to acting, but it kind of bothers me because there are a lot of moments in this web drama, especially in the first episode, where characters just don't match well together. Some will overreact, some will underact, and it just creates this very awkward and unbalanced feeling and scenes which I didn't quite enjoy. Now, to be fair, the second episode improves on it a lot, I have to admit, because there are many scenes where basically this awkwardness or like this overreacting, underacting kind of toned down a little bit and everyone is more or less on the same level. But this scene in particular, the first scene, is just kind of painful to watch. It's just the blonde guy, he's overreacting like hell, while the main protagonist is heavily underacting. He's like very emotionless, just a stone face, and the other guy is just jumping around, shouting like crazy and just saying some nonsense. What happens next is the classical thing. The blonde guy, tells his friend, hey, let's do a YouTube channel. And what do you know? He actually finds or talks about a channel of Miyeon's character. He's talking about her. He shows the main protagonist her character, and he's like, oh my god, I remember her. Once he's reminded of his high school crush, we go into the past, and in the past, some things happen between them, obviously. And we are going to find out what. The students are walking towards school. Miyeon is doing her own thing, which is, you know, recording herself, doing a vlog because she's a YouTuber. What a coincidence. We are the same thing. Everybody's late, so they run, gun it, and guess what happens next? The most unbelievable thing. Miyeon runs into... and they have this little cute moment where they look at each other. Obviously, Gong Chanyeon is completely completely shocked and knocked out by Miyeon's beauty. While Miyeon is just like, what the fuck, dude? Can you let me go? I really have to admit that I really enjoy the little play with the name replay and play, because every beginning of the episodes so far has started in the present. And then, once, you know, the quote of the main character has been said, when the episode has been set up, we replay into the past. And that is something that I really enjoy. It's kind of fun to see like this little play button turn into replay and then show us what happened in the past. That's one aspect of the show that I really enjoy. So it's not, I don't hate it completely. There are many things that I have problems with, but this is one of the things that I really enjoy. Since this is a web drama about high schoolers being in a band, that's obviously why they hired Miyeon and SF9 as a part of it, right? Obviously they're idols, so they can sing and dance and do shit like that. Since the plot has to move on, since has to end up in the band, what do? We have the scene where the teacher's like, oh my god, you have to join the band. You're a great pianist, piano. And obviously, he's like, I will think about it. Anyway, this is another one of those weird scenes where one of the actors just overreacts and the other just underreacts, which makes it incredibly awkward to watch. I mean, just look for yourself.
공이요. 공찬형.
그래 공찬형이 그래 가봐도 돼.
You know, I'm a big fan of cute scenes. You know, I'm a sucker for cringy, for quirky, for just like those really weird scenes which make you go just die inside. I love them, and this show has quite a lot of them. But at times I have to say there are moments where I'm like, this is a little bit too much for me. This is a little bit too stupid, and this is the most ridiculous and just awkwardly acted scene in the first episode. You know, this guy just walks into a room, he cannot find the light switch, or rather he finds it, but the light doesn't turn on, and he just looks at the ceiling. He looks at the motherfucking ceiling while he's walking around, instead of trying to focus on the ground so he doesn't fall. But for some reason, he's like, oh my god, the light doesn't work. Maybe if I look at it, it will work. What the fuck? And obviously, he stumbles. And guess what happens next? Something amazing. I mean, this scene is just... it's so cute, but also at the same time a little bit creepy and uncomfortable. But still, this is a great scene. This is my favorite scene of the first episode. I freaking loved it. I almost screamed when I've seen it the first time around. But yeah, this is just good shit. Good romance shit. Yeah, I like that scene.
그 순간 예고도 없이 찾아온다.
And at the end of the episode, we have the thing that happens in every single episode so far, which is the main character tells us something in the beginning. Like, I don't know, in this case, every person has a unique name, and then at the end of the episode, the thing that he said applies to what happened. And in the second episode, something similar happens as well. He talks about people getting closer, or, you know, people being far apart or close. And then in the end of the episode, he tells something that is relevant to that first quote. So this is a really cool thing. I really like the aspect of the main character, you know, kind of giving us a certain key word, key sentence to hold on to, and then later on he explains it in more detail. I really enjoy that one.
가까워지고 싶으면 다가가면 된다.
At the beginning of the second episode, we come back to the present with the blonde guy talking with... And, you know, obviously the plot has to happen. Some things in the present have to be happening as well. So they switch their time at their part-time job. And guess what happens? Guess who walks in at the same time when the is working? Miyeon walks in, and they have like this moment of realization who they are, right? Gong Chang-young is like, oh my god, it's the goddess Miyeon. And Miyeon is like, oh my god, it's Gong Chang-young. You know, it's the classical thing. And before we go further into the second episode, I have to say that the acting in this one is much better. It just feels more natural, less awkward. And maybe it's because I got more used to the characters and their acting, but it just seems less awful to me, at least. Don't get me wrong, I still think that most actors aren't that great. I think that they are just, like I said, the whole scale of overreacting and underacting. But still, this episode is just better in that regard. And maybe because those scenes were shot at a different time, where Miyeon and the others got more accustomed to each other, and where Miyeon just learned a little bit more about acting. But this is just much more comfortable in general, like this entire episode. And now obviously, since we have hit the play button in the present, we have to replay into the past. And we see what happened after that awkward, almost kissing moment. And what did happen? He obviously got pushed and called a pervert. I mean, what else did you expect? Did you think she would kiss him? Did you really think she would kiss him? Like, who the fuck would do that? Then they go out of class and we meet SF9's member. Actually, we met him before multiple times, but this is one of those "ooh, I'm jelly" scenes, right? Before he was already asking, "Hey, do you know this guy?" And she was like, "No," and we could already see his jealousy. But now he's even more jealous since they came out of the room together. This is one of my most favorite, like my favorite scenes in this episode, where he just goes through her Instagram and he accidentally likes a lot of her pictures. And honestly, it happened to me too before, so I can relate to him a lot. So maybe that's why I like this scene a lot. But it's quite funny. It's done well. He's acting it. You know, his acting is very well. It's decent in the scene. I don't think he underreacted. He did a pretty good job at just overall, you know, showing emotion of being just completely, you know, desperate about, oh no, what the fuck have I done? Now in the bus, we have another cute scene where they text each other, you know, through Instagram about like, hey, no problem, I paid for your tickets, it's fine. You know, I paid for it because I wanted to thank you and repay you for finding my keyring, which happened in the, you know, previously in the episode. And it's a very cute moment. I really like it. I really enjoy how Miyeon and Gong Chang-young react in that scene. She's really smiling and enjoying it, since she kind of caught him red-handed on lying about not liking her Instagram pictures, because she followed him, she texted him, and he responded. Now, this scene where they all sit there is actually quite nice, because I think that the chemistry between the characters is actually pretty good. Maybe because the actors had more time with each other, so now they feel more comfortable. But this wasn't as apparent in the, you know, in the previous scenes. The chemistry just didn't kind of click for me. Maybe it was because of the acting, maybe not, but I wasn't really impressed, or rather, I wasn't convinced about the characters talking to each other and how their relationship works. But maybe that's just me. Now in the final scene, all of the characters from the band await one special pianist to come into this room, and who else could it be than Gong Chang-young himself. Welcome back. You know, me without headphones, there's no video showing in the background. I just wanted to summarize my thoughts a little bit and, you know, kind of collect them a little bit more. So, overall, my first impression of this web drama, which we cannot forget, it's a web drama, which means it doesn't have the same budget a full-blown production would have. At the same time, we have to consider the fact that a lot of the actors are new to acting, like Miyeon and SF9. They haven't done that before, so it's natural that their acting wouldn't be super amazing. Now, like I mentioned, I'm not impressed with the acting. The acting so far has been very wishy-washy, and you know, in most cases I wasn't really enjoying, or I wasn't convinced by the acting, especially by the main character, Gong Chang-young. I think his acting so far has been, well, not great. You know, he has some good scenes, but mostly it's kind of awkward and it doesn't feel natural at all. Now, Miyeon, on the other hand, she isn't great either so far. I think that her, you know, emotional range, or like her expressions so far haven't really impressed me. Now, when she dances, when she performs, right, or in music videos, her expressions are amazing and great, and I would like to see the same amount or the same level of expressions in this web drama. Maybe it will come out later, but so far I haven't seen it. I'm not that impressed with it, but overall I know she's doing her she's doing her best, which I can appreciate, and I can see her effort in acting, but so far it hasn't been that amazing. Obviously, this can easily change with each episode. She probably got more accustomed to it, but so far, I think her acting is they're just too little expression. It seems like she has only 1 or 2 faces, and that's basically it. And I would like to see more. Now, when we go to the other characters, like I said, some underact and some overreact. People who overreact: the blonde guy, the guy with the afro hair, or like very curly hair. This guy, I know he's supposed to be the quirky, weird guy, but it's a little bit too much in my personal opinion. Then obviously we have underreacting characters like SF9's, guy. I forgot his name. I think he was Huiyong or something like that. Anyway. Yeah, that he also kind of didn't really show many expressions so far, but like I said, it can change. It can definitely change. Now, the drama overall is shot well. There aren't any scenes that are shot badly. The camera has some interesting angles from time to time. There are some, creative uses of transitions and stuff like that. And overall, like I said, I really enjoy that the beginning has a lot to do with the ending, with the characters talks about something, and then in the end he's like, when he applies it to the past, just overall, that are some really good moments. I also like the audio design. I think that they play around a lot with different sounds. Like, I think at one point we had Mario sounds in the second episode, and just overall, they play out a lot with what is being said. And with the audio, they are backing up the dialogue with different sounds, with different sound effects, so that it has a little bit more quirky and more just fun impression or fun effect on it. But yeah, I am quite excited to watch the show, even though I'm not impressed by the acting and I don't think this is an amazing show. I'm still excited to watch more because the second episode gave me a lot of hope. The second episode is definitely the better one. It definitely delivered more than the first episode. The first episode was more or less underwhelming, honestly. And so if I've only watched the first episode, then I wouldn't probably want to keep on watching it if I didn't know Miyeon. But since I know Miyeon, I'm still going to watch it because I'm really, really excited and interested to see how she's going to do. Now, I hope you will not be too mad at me for not really liking this show that much so far. I mean, it is a pretty good show. It isn't amazing. It isn't terrible. It's just kind of in the middle, right? But obviously, it's the first 2 episodes, so I cannot give you my full opinion about the entire show, since, it's not finished. But once it's finished, I'm going to do a full review on the entire series and just talk about how my view of the show changed during the runtime. Now, basically that's it. Now, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my first impression of Replay, and see you in the next video.